Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike Plays RP1 Redux, where I continue to fumble my way through the contracts in the Realistic Progression contract pack. Now, if it felt like the previous episode ended rather abruptly, well, there is a good reason for that. My original plan for that episode was to conclude with my third attempt at achieving the 3,000 kilometer downrange milestone contract, and if you missed that episode, you'll see a link to it at the top right. Everything was going great until the U-2000 engine inexplicably prematurely shut down, leaving me well short of the necessary speed and altitude. This wasn't an engine failure. As you can see, the status of the engine is nominal. As I was tired at this point and didn't want the mission to end if this was just a game glitch, I reverted back to launch and ended that play session, deciding to puzzle this out another time and then decide what to do. You may have noticed that when the engine shut down, there was a message saying no ignitions remaining. This puzzled me as the engine's throttle was still on full, but going back over the video, you can see that the throttle actually flutters right at this point. The other thing to notice is the periapsis is negative 5,800 kilometers, the same as the target periapsis entered into McJeb. Now I know McJeb behaves this way, so I had a line in my KOS script that locked the throttle to 1. This seemed to be a solution, but if you go back to any of the simulations I did, you will find the same flutter happens in simulation mode, but the rocket just powered on. You may think that this is because I had engine failures disabled in simulation, but remember, this isn't an engine failure. In fact, you may recall in previous episode that this exact running out of ignitions problem had occurred in previous simulations, but I didn't identify why at the time and so just ignored it. This really seems to be a luck of the draw kind of thing. Anyway, with the cause identified, that left me with the decision of what to do, and I decided to go with my reverted vessel and try again. If you think that isn't quite kosher, that's fine, but here we go. Okay, so just quickly double checking these numbers, and that auto stage is indeed off. It is. We will engage McJeb, open up our contracts, and run our downrange program. Okay, just gotta tuck that up there. All right. And we are off. And I know there are people who have been suggesting this actually for several episodes now, and probably are saying right now, this is all because you're using this prime vector guidance on McJeb. You should be using a classic ascent profile for the suborbital launches. And frankly, actually, I was beginning to agree with you a few episodes ago, but I was really kind of having fun playing with McJeb and just trying to get this to work. I'm always more about having fun than playing everything optimally, so I do appreciate the comments that people are leaving for me, and sometimes they get a little long, and I'll have to admit I don't take in all of that. I usually just write a handful of points that I have here on the screen beside me and use that as kind of a guide. But I just can only incorporate so many things into my game at a time. But you know what? I will explore for the Albert 1, which will be coming up after this one, is the next thing being built. I will explore using the classic ascent profile and probably start to abandon this idea of using the prime vector guidance for these suborbital ones, because I do agree that is what's getting me in trouble. Anyway, what we're going to be doing as far as the solution goes is if it's going to blip the throttle when McJeb, when it gets to these numbers on McJeb, then all I'm going to do is disengage McJeb. But I have to disengage at the right time, because disengaging right now will cause the blip as well. I will disengage when the SRB is on, because you can't turn off an SRB, so that should resolve this issue. Let's see. So we should be seeing these spinning up pretty soon. There we go. And as soon as that SRB lights, I'm disengaging Autopilot. There we go. And we're on to the next one. McJeb has been disengaged. It cannot blip my throttle. I'm sure I wasn't looking, but I'm sure the throttle blipped when I disengaged it. But now, this is gone. We're totally on KOS, who's just simply controlling, actually doing really not much of anything, to be quite honest. Now, just to remind people as to what the contract was. I've been working on this one for a few episodes now. It's Downrange Milestone, 3,000 kilometers. Reach an apogee of at least 140 kilometers. We are just passing that now, so that's not a problem. And get 3,000 kilometers downrange. And hopefully, this will finally be the one that's going to get that done. And then we'll move on to the Albert 1. There's still a 5,000 kilometer downrange. That is going to have to require a redesign of this. This thing's not capable of that. And probably really tweaking that ascent profile. Okay, we are coming now towards the end of the burn. It's not going to do because McJeb is gone. It didn't do any blipping when it passed the negative 5,800 kilometers on the periapsis. It should just burn itself out. Boom, that is it. We have an apoapsis, an apogee, of 1,193 kilometers. Oh my gosh. We just cracked the 5,000 kilometer downrange speed record, uncrewed speed record. We will be cracking the uncrewed altitude record of 1,000 kilometers. There's the next one here, 7,000 meters per second. We're not going to be doing that. That is 7,000's getting... What's orbital? Isn't it a little bit over 7,000? I can't remember exactly. Around 7,500 meters per second, maybe orbital velocity. I should probably know that. But this won't be going orbital. But hopefully, this will be going a significant amount of downrange. Okay, we can begin time warping this up to our apogee here. Yeah, this one has been a frustrating one. All right, we got 800, 900. That's 1,000. Let's like slow this down a little bit, maybe. A little bit more. We are crossing into Earth's radiation belts and are being exposed to extreme radiation. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, that's good to know around where that bit's going to hit on us. All right. We are still not quite there. Oh, we're well over there. 1632 on the downrange, well over halfway to 3,000 kilometers, and we are still a decent distance from our apogee. This one's got to be it. All right, there we go. We just crossed apogee. We're almost at 2,000 kilometers downrange. Oh my goodness! Like if I take a look at the map, there's Africa. See that very clearly this time. Still getting these little... Somebody's saying it's the Tufts TUFX mod. I need to reinstall it to get rid of these funky little shadowy, glitchy things. We are not too far, honestly, from the coast of Africa. I don't know if we'll be seeing it or not, but be kind of cool. Oh, that's South America down below us here. It's going, what are we seeing there? But that is the northern coast of South America. That's very cool. More time warping. This program has ended. Our batteries are about to die, but none of that matters. I want to keep a close eye on the horizon. I don't think we'll be seeing the African coast. We're also losing altitude here. Our batteries have gone dead, so this has nothing to say to us anymore. Oh, and we just crossed 3,000. Oh. Wait, because I restarted this? Oh my gosh, I'm just noticing here it's not giving me the launch a new vessel, even though this is a new vessel. Is it... Does... Okay, we might have to... so I got two choices here. One, I can get out the F12. I might. I mean, I could also roll this thing back, but to me, I don't know. The whole McJeb thingy, I don't know. I'm gonna give myself permission to roll back. But does RP1 have a thing that if you roll it back, I'll have to go back over the video evidence on that one. Do you lose this launch a new vessel, or is it because this is actually a different gaming session? I actually quit last time, and I might just Alt-12 that on me. Honestly, like, as far as I'm concerned, I've done it and then some. Sorry, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Alt F12. People tell me it's not cheating when you play a solo game. Some of you might disagree. I don't know, but sorry, what am I looking at? I'm looking at contracts. And look at my active contracts. And we now have done the Downrange Milestone 3,000 kilometers. I don't care what the game says. There we go. Done. There we go. That is now done. We can close that off. Uncrewed altitude record of 1,000. All that's going to be done. I'll have to go back over the video evidence about whether that's because of my reverting or whether that's because of just starting a new game. If it's just because I started a new game, then I absolutely do not feel bad about, you know, that I'm playing on a different day. Not a new save, but like, you know, there's been some days between the introduction in this video to what's going on right now. If that's what caused the new vessel thing, then I don't feel bad about just doing that F12 thing. Okay, so this is congratulations on the new uncrewed speed record, congratulations on the new uncrewed altitude record, and congratulations on a successful launch for the 3,000 kilometer downrange milestone contract. Other than that, all that's left to do is to watch this thing die. I'm very curious just how far it got, to be honest, but I'm probably well into 4,000 at least, I would think. You know what I'll do? There's a note to myself is I will put in some text right here, right now, whether that new vessel thing did out of the green because of the restart or because this is just another play session. So message right now. Now you know. Anyway, we're done. We are done. Back to the Space Center we go. All right, let's just recover this launch stand there. And okay, next up, it should be being built. Let's see what we got happening here. We're reconditioning the launch pad. We got Avionics prototypes coming, which is going to give me better probe cores. You know, Avionics. Come on, get. You can do it. You can do it. There it is. And then we got the Albert 1 being built. That's coming up in May the 14th. It's now January the 14th, so a few months from now. All right, let's go and get in here. And we have to re-look at the Albert 1, which is actually this one, the V2 Albert 1U. All right, you saw me playing with this and finalizing this build last episode. Did the contract without too much difficulty, but I'm going to learn how to use just the Ascent, the classic ascent profile rather than using, you know what I'm talking about. But actually, I should accept the contract too. And we are looking at the first advanced biological suborbital experiment. And this is the final contract in the suborbital rocket research contract to reach a surface velocity of 220 meters per second above an altitude of 140 kilometers, both at the same time, while having the advanced biological capsule aboard and 200 units of sounding payload. That is the mission. The rest of this is details. So we're going to accept that. And we're going to go back in here. And we're going to simulate this. Simulate. Okay, so here we are. And what we're going to do, I know what I got written here. I'll have to adjust that in the boot file in just a little sec. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch this from prime vector to classic ascent profile, and then there's this edit path option. So very few, some of these same options as what we had before, but that we're going to keep. Yeah, we're going to limit the angle of attack to 5 degrees is probably good. That'll probably blow up the rocket. So this is the classic as it comes from stock, and what you can do is you can adjust what the top altitude is going to be. Automatic altitude turn. Not sure if that. So for instance here, when to start the turn. So let's start the turn. No. Turn start when altitude is 8.4 kilometers. No, we want the turn to start before that. Or velocity reaches 98.9 meters per second. Okay, so that's those two. That's fine. Oh, I see why it's so screwy, because the skill got negative 5,800 here. Let's take a look at the contract. Contract has to get over 140, so let's put this for now at 150. Now we're getting some sensible numbers. This is for adjusting when to start the gravity turn, to start the turn on the ascent. So you can see there's a little straight part here, and you can adjust how long that straight part is. But really, notice the or the velocity is 98.9 meters. You know, I'm going to leave it on the default, and we can adjust that later if we need to, maybe 5 kilometers or so. Okay, you can now adjust there's a slider here, and that adjusts the turn shape. And you can also just simply put in that number. And in fact, once I get the right number, I think I will put that up here in the boot file and remind me of what to do. So, you know, you can adjust that flight path to be, well, ridiculous, or you can adjust it to be normally. And this is the altitude that you put up here, 150 kilometers. You can also adjust what you want that final flight path angle to be. Up here it's 0. You can adjust that to, like, if you want 45, like that kind of a thing, so that when it gets to 150, it'll be going at 45. I'm going to keep it at 0 because it's going to run out of fuel somewhere around here. And then we'll just adjust the flight. To be honest, it's going to be running out of altitude probably at around 50 kilometers would be my guess. And maybe the better plan is to adjust this to maybe like 40 degrees, like that kind of a thing. So a little simpler. You get this very convenient look at, you know, what exactly... let's put this right at 50. It's a nice number right in the middle. I can't remember what the defaults were. And let's just leave it. Let's leave this alone like this. And so we're going to do our launch, and we're going to see if we can do this contract here. Boom, 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 boom. The telemetry biological sample says yes. Okay. So, all we're going to do is run our Albert 1. We're going to engage the autopilot, of course, and run our Albert 1. And we'll adjust what this message is after we're done. Okay, run Albert 1. So really kind of simpler than what I was doing before. Okay, oh, and the other thing I wanted to look at is the smartass. Everybody like, I don't know, I see people playing McJeb and they always are playing smartass. I don't know what this means. What's the auto mean? Maybe it only comes on after. Oh, we got a lot of windows open here. Maybe it only comes on when this is not on, when this is disengaged. So this replaces the kind of buttons you get with SAS. We'll see how that works. Anyway, looking pretty good, I think. Remember, we need that apogee to be at least 140. And that's once this thing stages, and I believe it will stage for me when I get to like 100 kilometers. I gotta be ready. I gotta engage this. And then we fly the Albert, the little spacecraft at the top containing our chimp. What happened? Oh, it stops. Okay, there. See, I'm learning stuff. Orbit altitude here is 50 kilometers. Okay, so that was a mistake. Once our apogee got to 50 kilometers, it turned that off. Okay, that makes sense. So that should go back to 150, what it was before. Okay, let's restart our simulation. I'm learning this as I go. Restart. Yeah, it very clearly does say orbit altitude. So, okay, that's not going to be 50, obviously. Let's go with 150 there. And let's turn this percentage back to 0 again, so it's following a more typical kind of ascent profile that you would see. Okay, let's engage autopilot. Oh, yeah, you can see when I disengage that, now comes on the smartass thing. So, orbit service target. I don't know what advanced means. Ooh, okay. And then we got prograde, retrograde, normal, anti-normal, radial, radial up, radial down, and or radial out, radial in, depending on your perspective of things. We have surface stuff, and we have... See, I'm not 100% sure what advantage this has over just the regular what you get here. I honestly don't know. But I see people using it, so there must be something. Something good. Okay. Boomity, 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 boom. Engage and run Albert. Okay. And I really wasn't, so it's when it gets to about 100 meters per second, it's going to start its turn over. Could do that maybe earlier. Honestly, there it's starting to turn now. You can see, you want to limit that angle of attack a little bit. I think this number, right here, this velocity number could be a little lower. Maybe quite a bit lower, actually. All right, let's see how this one works. In fact, we can do a little bit of time warping here. And so you can see how it's showing what the actual path of our rocket is along the ascent profile. We're not going to be doing all of this because we're going to be running out of fuel before it gets to anywhere near that. In fact, let's turn that off as it gets ready to run out of fuel. Kind of like, I like this angle. Okay, so we will disengage this, lock this to prograde. Of course, we have no flight control at all. This is not doing anything for us right now, so we'll just get rid of that. We will kill our throttle. Why won't it let me kill the throttle? Okay, just off. Why won't it let me kill the throttle? I want to kill the throttle. I'm pushing X here. Oh, maybe it'll do it. Maybe it's... Okay, maybe it's KOS has got the throttle locked to 1. Okay. That's weird. Okay, I got to investigate that. All right, so what we're going to do, actually, is turn this off. SAS, I don't know what this is doing for me. Let's just turn that right off. RCS on. We'll investigate that software component. Little door opened. And again, the idea here, get to a surface velocity. Notice the sort of counter, that counter thrust is being provided automatically. I wonder if there's somewhere I can adjust that in the settings that I'm the one who's deciding. I don't know. Where's our altitude here? Okay. Our apogee is 150. I'm wondering if it needs to be a little higher. Did it cut the engine? Interesting. Okay, let's Z and engage that motor. Okay, perfect. And then we just gotta fly this until we get to 220. I wasn't paying attention, but I noticed my apogee cleared this apogee. And 200. There it is. Okay. So contract is successful. We can turn on RCS and flip this around to the retrograde. See, I turned off RCS so it would just, you know, orient around like that, not keep burning. And then as I get close to the retrograde, closer to retrograde, I will put that back on again. But this engine here is out of ignition, so I don't have any. But I want to take a look at why did the throttle stay on there. Might look at that Albert1 program. Okay, now put on RCS, and I'm not doing that, it's doing it on its own. And then we can push Z again. Yeah, and it tried to ignite this engine and it can't. And this is all about just kind of reducing our velocity a little bit. We are falling, so actually our velocity is increasing despite what we're doing, but it's less than what it otherwise would be, is the idea. Just so that it, you know, saves on our re-entry. And that's it. We are out of nitrogen, so that is done, that is done, that is done. We will stage. And that also engaged our parachute. Okay, let's take a look at our program here, because there's a couple of things I want to take a look at. And it's the Albert1, yes, this guy. So until ship S, yep, wait 2, lock throttle to 1 is here. I think here I should just not lock throttle to 1. Lock throttle to 0. I think that's all I need. I think that's it. And that turns off the throttle for me. So after, it'll say disengagement jab, that. So the only reason I got throttle control back, I think, is, I don't know why. Once the RCS came on, the throttle went back to, okay, whatever. We're going to turn the throttle off at that point. So that should take care of that. Okay, let's get rid of this. And this re-enters fine. Okay, let's restart the simulation. And we'll make a couple of changes here. So number one is I want to reduce this velocity. I want it to start to turn earlier. So here we go, 52.7 meters per second. We'll go for that. Who knows? That might be closer to what the default is. I was playing with it. The other thing is I do suspect, oh no, the throttle was still, oh, but that could be, yes, that could be KOS that had the throttle full. Because it did reach that 150 kilometer altitude. I'm worried that McJeb turned this off. So maybe what I will do is maybe turn this to 160. Leave everything else the same. Okay, let's see what that's like. Okay, because what I don't want to actually reach the altitude I type in here. I'd like it to get over 140 and reasonably above 140, so like 150 was great. But I was thinking that actually this engine had turned off on me. And that's what I don't want. Okay, again, a little time warping. And I also want to make sure that once this engine dies and I disengage McJeb, that KOS will, I can get words out. KOS will turn the throttle back down to 0. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Disengage McJeb. Throttles back down to 0. Put on SAS and lock this to prograde. No, I'm good. I'm happy. That's happy. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, I'm actually going to ignore what's going on here. We're going to go and put these guys into Visual Studio, into our boot file. So this is the Albert 1, other Albert 1. Why do I have them both called the same thing? I don't know. So what we're looking at is, yeah, we know that. We have start velocity 52.7. So I'm going to change this to velocity. I honestly don't care what's going on out there now. 52.7 meters per second. And we have the turn shape at 50%. Those are the, oh no, orbital altitude. Sorry. Let me just turn off that RCS. That's really kind of maddening. Orbital altitude. I think that was set to 160. It was. And take out that blank line. And the other parameter I want to set is turn shape is at 50%. So shape. There we go. Save that. Get rid of that window. Back to here. We're back to the editor. Was there any? No, I think I'm good. We're back to the editor. All right, so I think that ain't too bad. So I'm gonna, oh, we didn't make really any changes to the rocket at all. No, we didn't. So that's all cool. Yeah, we'll just head out. Yeah, we made no changes to rocket. And like I said, Albert 1 is that this should finish off the suborbital research program. Why don't we time warp to see our new avionics prototype? So the new avionics prototypes, which is this one, yeah. We get these Sputnik type things, but what I'm really interested in is just these advances on the Science Core and the near-Earth avionics. Especially, we got a little bit more space to save our KOS programs, up to 500 bytes. But on the science core, a 55% drop in mass, and on the avionics core, a 20% drop in mass, as well as power reductions. But really, what I'm thinking about is the mass reduction. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to time warp. I actually should at the same time take a look at my budget. Somebody was pointing out to me that I'm always looking at my balance right after a launch, while the launch complex is reconditioning. And if we take a look at our costs here, there's this rollout air launch prep. They're reconditioning the launch pad, and that's costing me 100.3 curb bucks a day. However, it's only going to take them another 20.5 hours to do that. So this is a very temporary cost. My balance is actually much higher than I think it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to time warp to the completion of the rollout. And now that disappeared there. And now look at my balance. It's 158 curb bucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some more hiring. We're going to take a look at our staff. How many engineers can I get? I can get 9 more engineers into my V2 launch complex, so we're going to do that. So, engineers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're assigning it to our only launch complex. Actually, we do have a hangar. We just haven't used that. We should be hopefully using that soon, because I would think the flying planes program is going to be the next one. Okay, that's the 99. That makes me feel good. Still got a balance of $146. Healthy balance up there. So we're going to hire some researchers. I would love to get this up to 200 researchers. That would be groovy doovy, and just for a nice number. So we're going to hold the shift key. So we're hiring in tens, and we're going to say hire. And that brought the balance down to that, and then we're going to go higher again. We're going to throw caution to the wind. So my balance is 130. See, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. So now I got 200 researchers, 99 engineers, almost 300 staff in total. Yes, baby. I like it. Okay, so what I was thinking about next. Sorry for the Sean Connery. Oh, I don't know why I'm talking that way. Turn that off. Okay. Oh, we're time warping we get the avionics prototype. Because that mass reduction should help with getting that 5,000 kilometer downrange. Okay, so we're now into March, almost into April, and May 3rd is when this is due to be completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to select that 5,000 kilometer. Get rid of this one for now. The 5,000 kilometer downrange contract. This is the capstone contract. Very similar to what you just saw. Still have to achieve an altitude of 140. Oh, we also have to have 50 units of sounding payload on the craft. So this is stepping it up and get 5,000 kilometers downrange. So I got a feeling. I have me a feeling that, let's bring out the old 3000 one. This is V2 number 2. B, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So this is with the aluminum fuselage it is, okay? So this is like kind of my best rockets. That's the A9 engine on the bottom. It is. Okay, so this is the rocket we just saw finally do that 3000 one. What I'm interested in is, can I get it to 5,000 kilometers even if, everything else is all right? So what we're going to do, I'm wondering also if it's better with some fairings in here, but one thing at a time. Let's see. What we're going to do is upgrade the probe cores. I also got to put 50 units of sounding payload aboard this puppy, right? Yeah, I do. So, and I'm assuming, let's take a look at the contract. Like, the sounding payload has to be on there when it gets to 5. It has to be. It's not going to let me cheat and put 50 units of sounding payload down there. No, it won't. It's not going to do that. So we're going to have to do this. Get into our little parts here. And I should have, there's the 75. I don't have a 51. I do have this 75 units of sounding payload. I can simply get the tank UI and change 75. Wow, 74 point. Okay, 70 to 50, and update that. And then that. Get rid of where's it there. And that way I'm not retooling the tank. Now, one of the things I should maybe see. This is a tooled tank. How much weight am I saving by retooling the tank? That's my question. So I can answer my own question. This has a dry mass of 11.9 kilograms. So if I reduce the length, now at 830, if I reduce the length until this 50 starts to go down, really. Oh, that didn't take very long. This way. I've already forgotten. Okay. I'm an idiot. I already forgotten what I had. There's the old one. I hardly changed the length at all. So, and tooling the UI. Or tooling the UI. Never mind. Update. Okay. So this guy, like, seriously, this 830 and this one is, wait a minute, how are these the same? Oh, it updated the whole length. Oh, it's already, okay, never mind. And it's counting, I don't understand what just happened here. Did it change the length? But the thing is, go away. It might have changed the length when I changed the size, but it also says it's still tooled. So if it did change the length, here we can answer our own question. No, it never changed the length. Yet if I shorten this at all, okay, here we go. This is more kind of the behavior I was expecting. Okay, so this is getting it to 50 units of sounding payload by just adjusting the length. Well, this one was done by adjusting the content. Still 50 units of sounding payload. Okay. But this one has a dry mass of 11.9 kilograms. This one has a dry mass of 7.96 kilograms. So about 4 kilograms got just saved there. And the tooling cost to do that, if I took this one out and put this one in and looked at my tooling costs, it would cost me just $200, 200 curb bucks. You know what? I think it might be useful just to save whatever weight I can. For 200 curb bucks? Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, and I'm gonna just drop that in the sub-assembly zone. Just for 200 curb bucks, I think it's worth to save 4 kilograms for 200 curb bucks. I'm gonna do it. This is 50 liters. Sounding payload. In a 370 millimeter diameter aluminum. I'll just save that there for there. Okay, that can go now there. And actually it kind of illustrates something. I don't think I've really ever mentioned it, but the retooling cost, if you just adjust the length of a tank, is not that much. If you adjust the diameter of a tank, we can actually experiment with this right here. Like, for instance, if I change the diameter of this tank, the tooling costs go up much more significantly. See that? What did I have it at? 370. So I should put it back to that. So something to be aware of. Anyway, okay. That adjusting the lengths of the tanks does not cost that much. Okay, so that's got the 50 units of sounding payload part checked off. I'm going to try just launching this. Get it so the pipes are in the ground. And see what distance I get as it is without having to change anything at all. Okay, and we'll see how we do. So, let's take a quick look at our downrange program, because we're going to be changing... oh, it was downrange 3. That was it. Oh, that's the boot file. I'm sorry. It was run downrange. Do I not have downrange? Okay, downrange. Downrange, downrange, downrange. Under here. There it is. Okay. That was the program we were running. With the true false bit. Yeah. True, as in it has a payload. Was it true false? It was false true. Doesn't have a payload, does auto stage. So we want the auto staging. I'm debating here. No, I do want the throttle still to be 1. Never mind. I was playing with the idea of turning the throttle off, but no, I don't want that. I do not want that. Okay, never mind. We are back. Let's simulate this. Now, I can simulate this into the future. I did not note what time it was right now, but I did notice it was dark outside. It's a 24-hour clock. If I go ahead 12 hours... that should be daytime, but you can get screwed around. We are kind of, you know what, I'm going to go less than that, because we are kind of we're in March, aren't we? I think we're in March. Let's see what 8 hours does for us. So simulate this 8 hours in the future. Ooh, we got a rainstorm. It is daytime, though. We haven't had much of this, okay? And that put us at, what is our time? Mission time now is 16:39. People were pointing out to me, about 1200 is typically sunrise, but it does move around depending upon the time of year. So, but we're definitely in the daytime here. Okay, so what we want to do. The old number was to get to an apoapsis, an apogee of 500. Let's put the same numbers in. So 500. We're going to try with the classic ascent. I'm going to leave everything else the same, and we're going to engage it. We're going to see how we do. Contract should be all the green. We got our 50 units of sounding payload. We're just going to see what this thing is capable of just by playing around with the ascent. We'll see how we do. So, engage the autopilot and run. Come here. Run downrange. False and true. And I really should also get into my boot file and adjust it so that the window size gets adjusted. It's actually pointed out in my Discord. It's like, you know, you readjust this every single time. You can do that in your boot file. I go, yeah, I know I can do that. Like, is it even adjusted as it is? Just hang on a second. This is this one. Nope, I gotta put some lines in to adjust. I don't want to do that now because I'll look up how to do it. Alright. We're all good. We're all good. So, what I would like as we come out of the rainstorm. Wow, it is high cloud. There we go. Alright. Otherwise, this thing should behave very much the same as what we just saw. Oh, I never did. Oh, I was going to upgrade all the probe cores. What a dope. What a dope. Okay, let's do that. Revert back to the editor. I forgot I was... Upgrade the bloody probe cores, Mon. Okay, so what we can do is we can go to here. This is a near space probe core, which means that it has like avionics in there to steer the ship. And I can now unlock this for a cost of 0. And we can, well, it's already switched to it. This is the avionics prototype, and it was on the starting prototype. And what we did is got a mass saving. So for instance, with start, this part, where does it tell me here, had a weight of 533 grams. And if I go to here, it is now only 33.1 grams. That is huge, huge. I do not need all that electricity. I don't know what the old one was. Let's put in 100 for now. It should run out just as we are apply and preserve dimensions. It should just run out of fuel as it gets to it. Oh, somebody was also pointing out, but I'm not entirely sure if it's true, that you can prioritize electricity flow just like you do with, but I'm not convinced you can. I don't see an option to up the priority or anything like that on electricity. There's no fuel flow, fuel delivery overlay. There's no electricity delivery overlay. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. So that's good. And then we have this guy. Let's pay attention. It has 50, it only has 50 kilojoules of electricity in aboard. Maybe up. Nah, we'll keep it at 50. But now we can switch this to the avionics prototype. And again, mass is right now 3.16 kilograms. And if I switch to the avionics, the new one, it is 3.268 kilograms. Did it go up? Why did it go up? There must be less power usage. Power consumption is 25 watts. The power consumption is half. But the mass actually went up 17 kilograms. This one's 30. No, it says here the mass went down. Okay, wait. Apply and preserve dimensions. Okay, I'm not pushing the buttons right. No, 3.28. I don't know. We'll go with it. If the power consumption is less, I should be able to put less electricity in here, like say 30 kilojoules. Apply. Okay, whatever. This is, by the way, now, oh boy, still the same rocket. This is I'm just gonna put in brackets here, 5,000 kilometer variant. Variant spelt that way? I think so. Save that as something new. Okay, let's simulate this again. Okay, all these are still at what they were before. So all we should have to do is engage that and run our program. Some people might be saying that the rain should scrub the launch. But all of this is just cosmetic. It doesn't actually affect anything. But it sure is mighty cool cosmetics. And for those people that know about the Black Racks volumetric clouds, this is version 4. I believe, I could be wrong, but versions 1 and 2 might be available for free. You don't have to do it through the Patreon. I'm not 100% sure on that. You might want to dig that up. There is a version 5 that's out now, but I haven't gotten it to work with RP1, and I'm just kind of letting it go until somebody works out a really nice way to do it. That's easy for me. That doesn't involve getting into all kinds of configs and stuff. I need it to be, like, you know, a couple of buttons I can push and that's it. But the cool thing in version 5 is that when you get rain like that, it makes the ground wet and you get puddles on the runway and the launch pads and things like that. And with the deferred lighting mod, those puddles reflect really nicely. They look really good. Again, cosmetic thing. Very cool, though. Okay, how are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? We can do a little bit of time warping here. Now, what I would like, and people were talking about what angle should this rocket be at release. I think below 45 is about right. Some people think it should be right at, but I think it's below. But where exactly it is actually, I think, a complicated question. So I'm going to see if 40 would be nice. We'll see where it's at. But we'll just see how this does. This might be getting a little low. I got to get ready to disengage that autopilot, I think, for the same reasons. Yeah, it's pointing over quite hard now. I don't like that. Okay, disengaging McJeb. I think it's a little low. And there we got that going. So we want this turn shape probably to be higher than this. You notice it's still keeping track of our trajectory, but of course we have completely... We're not doing this anymore, but here's what we're actually doing. We're just going up. So I think a steeper trajectory is a good idea. But we'll see how this does. And again, a little bit of time warping. A little bit of a wobble. A little bit of a wibbly wobble. Okay, so 663 kilometers is not as high as it got before, but that might be neither here nor there. The key is how far downrange it goes. That's the V2. So it could use... I could put less electricity in the V2. I'm going to write that down. Obviously, once I lose that V2 booster, I don't need that anymore. There's still 15 minutes of electric charge left in here, so there's a lot. Okay, 663. There's the V2 just ran out of juice. I'll put less electricity in both, really. Honestly, like I don't need... Once this engine is done, especially once we've reached apogee and this program is done, we do not need electric charge anymore. Okay, 663 is our apogee. I got a feeling I'm going to need to put a better stage in the middle than just that SRB. We are at a downrange of 1708. Okay, we are now on our way down. We are not at half our apogee. But it wasn't terrible. Or, sorry, half our distance yet. So we're not going to make it. So what I want to do... I want to try and dial in this turn shape. I've been criticized at times for changing too many variables all at the same time. And I'm kind of in agreement. It's always because I'm in a hurry. And I should not be in a hurry. But... I'm going to adjust the turn shape and see if we can do a little bit better. I think it needs to come up a little steeper. So we're going to restart our simulation. And we're simply going to change this turn shape to 60 degrees. 6D, not 6.2. There we go. And we're just going to engage you. And we're going to run downrange. False and true. That's That's engaged, that's engaged, that's engaged. Yeah, I started at the beginning of all this blaming that funny little throttle blip on... Oh, but as long as my orbital altitude doesn't get... No, but once the orbital altitude... Yeah, I still have to... I'm going to run into the same problem. I just realized that. I was blaming it on the what is that? The RP1... What is it called? Prime Vector Guidance from RP1 on that little throttle blip. But to be honest, it would do it here too. As soon as my altitude got to 500, it would do that same little throttle blip. Really frustrating. Another thing I want to maybe experiment with is it worth my time to put fairings on here? Will that squeeze more distance out of this? And again, I don't know. Okay, it's pitching over pretty hard. But it is limiting the angle of attack. At least it's supposed to. Okay, no, again, pitching over very hard. I think I need to make this altitude higher. Disengage with Gem. And we're off here again. I think this needs to be a bigger number than 500. I do. It was 663 was my previous apogee. Not that that's the target, but that will give me an indication if I really change. It doesn't feel like I've changed that much. I also think... if I increase the length of time... I'm getting a little bit of a push from the SRB. I think that's what's inducing this wobble, which I don't like. Oh, definitely getting a higher apogee this time, 770. So changing that turn shape did make a difference. Now the question becomes, what will be my downrange distance? Again, we can... That's 770 kilometers. That's the V2 running out of juice. All right, 750... 760. Okay, we're getting close to our apogee. And last time I think we cracked 2000, did we not? I really should pay more attention to these things. 770, so 219. It's really not that different, is it? I don't think this thing can make 5,000. Let's just come right out and say that. I don't think that's in the cards. Okay. We're just shy of 2,000. Now we just cracked 2,000. Maybe it's about the same, but it's clearly not going to get to 5,000. So here's what we'll do. We'll revert back to the editor. I think mucking with the ascent profiles is kind of useless. And what we're going to do... We're going to replace this SRB with an intermediate stage is what we're going to do. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to drop it into here, and this is my V2 number 2 B. And this is like as a booster. We'll just save that there temporarily. And we'll throw that away. And we're going to get rid of this fella. And we're going to build something new underneath this. So, oh, I also said I wanted to reduce the amount of electricity in here, like by half. Let's make, I don't have enough guts to make it half. So let's take it down to 20 kilojoules. Apply and preserve dimensions. Okay, close that. So here's what we're going to do. This is going to be a dummy stage. I'm going to have to tool some new tanks for sure. I'm just thinking. And what I'm thinking, I might keep this here. Oh, there's smart parts hidden in there that I should probably just hide because I'm sure. Oh no, they were on the booster. They were. There are no smart parts in there. Okay. Let's think. Let's get into. Let's just get into a fuel tank. Let's put in an aluminum fuel tank. Conventional structure. I'm looking at what else I got, but I think I'm going to stick with that. I think so. What are these guys? Nose cones? Modular nose cones, conventional structure. Can these hold fuel? Or are they just nose cones? Oh, they can tool. Okay. Can I... No, you can't. Okay. I was about to say, could I make it not... Oh, I can do it with this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do this. And I did this in my first Mike Plays RP1 playthrough, which only got to the point where I just made orbit and then I had to stop. But I did this contract putting a Veronique inside there. And the Veronique is an engine you have unlocked right from the beginning. And I has to find it. I mean, there are other no, I'm going to stick with what worked last time. Which, once I find the Veronique, you'll get a look at it. Sorry, I'm looking at my list. Somebody told me some engines they really like, and that one, yeah, that's a big one. Yes, there's some big ones down here, but again, we're gonna try and be minimalistic about. Okay, we'll do the search. Come on, Veronique engine. There it is. Okay, and the Veronique engine, we'll take a quick look at it. Let's get rid of our contract window for now. Rated burn time of 45 seconds. Got no flight data on it, obviously. Let's open up the engine GUI. Oh, no, I don't have an upgrade for it. No, we have not unlocked any upgrades for it, so we have the Veronique. And sometimes someone was telling me when you hold it here, you do get the tested burn time, and it's not on all the engines, which is a little higher. I got a feeling TWR is gonna be my limiting factor on this. Okay. Stop talking, less talking, more doing. Tool that tank. Oh no, don't tool the tank, silly. Fill it for the Veronique. There's what I wanted to do. And it's going to probably have to be smaller than this. And then we're going to open up McJeb. Delta V stats. And what I'm looking at... Oh, this is completely discombobulated, obviously. And I remember I had to put in... We'll have to put in... we'll have to do some hot staging all the way up with this. Which ones? That goes with this. There we go. Okay. So right now, oh, this is only set to burn for 29 seconds? What? Oh, wait. First of all, I want this to be hot. Does it have to be high pressure? I didn't even look at that, for goodness sakes. Probably not, because I don't think it does. Subject to ullage, it doesn't require a high pressure tank. Unlike this one, which does require, it says it, pressure fed. This one, oh, is also pressure fed. So, okay, high pressure aluminum fuselage. Put that up. Fill it for the Veronique. I don't know, I'm surprised it even worked before. So that's only 30 seconds of fuel there. Wowzers. How big is my booster underneath going to be if I do that? Because coming down to about the same... Now, we're rated burn time of 45 seconds. Okay, this is set to a diameter of 370 millimeters. So let's take this, change it to a smooth cone. 370. Make the top 370. And make the bottom, well, this guy is might be able to make this into some sort of transition piece here. This guy is 125, of course. Yeah, so why don't we make the bottom 125? It is, okay. And then we have only 20 seconds, so we'll increase the length. And the TWR here is 2.76. So let's increase the length till we get really close. Now, of course, we are losing TWR on the bottom, especially sea level TWR. And what I'll do if this gets too low is probably just reduce the amount of fuel in this stage to bring this TWR up. But right now, I'm going to try and length. That's what I'm looking at. 45 will go to about 55 seconds for rated burn time. I should do a test thing. Now, what I really kind of don't like is I don't like the way this transition works at all. And I'm noticing here this TWR, yeah, I mean, it'll come off the ground. If I need to, I can reduce the fuel, but this is the idea. Here's what we're going to do. Let's throw this off again, because I haven't made any changes to that. Let's do a test of this. So, people were pointing out, I was being pointed out to, that there is a launch stand. Or not a launch stand, but static fire. What's it called then? A static fire stand or something like that. Here we are. It's modular launch pads. That's what I want. There's so much stuff here. So much stuff. But there is a dedicated static fire thingy. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter, but just to show people if I can find it. But I must be getting the name wrong because... Of course, I'm probably just missing it. We'll find it. We'll find it. I'm determined now. We are determined. Static test stand. Why did that not come up in my search? Static. You're useless. Test. Stand. Oh, I didn't realize how useless that search was. I gotta find it again. Kind of remember now what it kind of looked like, right? Oh my god. Now I'm seeing things and just being curious what they are. There's so much in here. This one? No. Oh my god, it's huge. What about that one? There's a tower type. Cradle type. Okay, just back off here. Oh my gosh. How is this supposed to work? Like, it can't be, it must sit in the... You must have to sit it somehow horizontally, right? Or wait, maybe what you do is you put it down... There's a node right here. It's not going to let me put it on that one. Okay. Okay, it really doesn't want me to put it on there. Does this have, what kind of parameters? Now I'm into play mode. Okay, colors, size. That's the standard size. Extended size is just bigger. It really doesn't go smaller than this? Oh my gosh. And then you would lay it down, but it's gonna look kind of funny, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of curious how they're expecting you to put it in there. But let's look at maybe the tower one. What's this tower guy do? Oh, that's cool. That's kind of neat. Sorry, now I'm just in play mode. Tower height. So right, it's now set to small. This would probably be lower in the ground too, like this. That's the idea. What other things? Tower height, stand color, side clamps, vertical bolts. Oh, down there, the bolts down here that are changing. Side clamps. Horizontal adjust. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See, and then you can push those right in on the little motor there. Like that. Vertical adjust. Oh, look at that's cool. I like that. And spread adjust. Oh, look at. Okay, but I'm not quite sure where those are supposed to go. Boofa ba ba bum. That looks like all the adjustments I have. Anyway, the whole point of this was to do the static fire testy thing. So we're going to do the simulate. We're going to go 8 hours in the future. We are going to enable part failures, and we're going to simulate. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Don't care about this. All we're going to do is take a look at this engine. And we're going to watch the mean time between failures here. There's 3 minutes. And we're going to see how it behaves as we fire up this engine. So we're going to activate the engine, and that's going to be it. Oh, throttle up. And now activate the engine. As this is very, very tightly holding down the rocket. All right, and again, total runtime, or sorry, rated burn time is 45 seconds. So it's not particularly long. Okay, and mean time between failures is only 3 minutes, so it is not exactly a super reliable engine, is it? Oh my goodness. Okay, we're crossing 45 seconds. That's 50 seconds. Oh, now we're seeing it coming down. 55 seconds. What? Oh, the engine just failed on us. It failed on us at 58 seconds. So I think 55 is probably about right, which I think is what I set it at. Oh, what fun. Okay. Let's end the simulation. Revert to editor. Okay, and then we'll go here. Throw you away. Much fun as you were. Up we go. Okay, now what I need to do. So right now I think I am set for 55-second burn time on that. TWR 1.85, that's a real, but then this one appears too, so that's fine. I do want to put some sort of, I don't like this, some sort of cowling on here. I did it on the V2 with a it's under payload, right? Or aerodynamics. Might be wrong. No, it's under payload. There's a fairing specifically. Interstage fairing adapter, no. Thrust plate procedural. That might be the thing to use. I think before I use something else, though. Oh yeah, boat tail. There's a boat tail flat, hollow ring, boat tail adapter with trusses on it. But here, the boat tail flat. That's what I want. Clearly needs to be upside downy. Needs to be 2.5 millimeters, or yeah, 2.5 meters in diameter. That is definitely not 1.25, for goodness sakes. Why do I have trouble with that? 1.25. Then we can put our motor back on, which is going to be here. Yeah. And then we're going to adjust the height of that. Boom, 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 boom. That is where it goes, right? Oh, no, that's the height of the fairing. That goes there. That's right. Okay, and then we can do all this. We want the base size to be we want this to be 1.25. I think. And we'll get some of these recolorable fairings. I think I got to put it upside down. Go four-way symmetry. It looks like it. That's the idea. I don't know. It seems to have added weight for no reason. This is already set at the lowest density I can make it. We can turn the ejection power and ejection torques and stuff off because this will never get staged. Enable crossfeed. Definitely want to enable the crossfeed. And there we go. Don't want an egg. Just want like, yeah, conic shape, which is a cylinder. So then under that, we'll go my V2 2B booster. I am keeping track of the total runtime of this video. I probably will not be. Now, what's an interesting thought is, what if I just increase this downwards to incorporate this? I don't know. So I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but if I grab the boat tail adapter and increase its length, just whoa, went too far. Oh, when it gets down to that here, it wants to, can I make the extra length? No, it wants to expand outward. See that? To get around that? I don't, oh no, whoa. That's not at all what I want. So as soon as it gets to where this is, now what I might be able to do is if I take this guy and just shrink its base size down. Well, now let me do that. Well, still, shrink it down more. To be honest, I probably should just put a regular old decoupler in there now that I got this going. Yeah, let's try that. Let's take this off, Decouplers. Shrink that diameter down. I'm fine with that. That goes there. And then not sure if I like it or not, to be honest. But we're going to give this a go. We're going to see what happens. And then I'm thinking, I'm seeing, I am just a bit too long. See that on the engineer report? And moving this doesn't make it shorter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't count the launch stand, as it shouldn't. It's like 100 centimeters too long. So we can probably make some adjustments on that. Actually, I know exactly the adjustment to make. If I go to here, you can adjust just the vertical scale of this. That shouldn't, oh no, that's going the wrong way. Oh, this is making it shorter what I just did here. Vertical scale on you. And click on that. Close it. Why am I fiddling with something that's probably not even going to work? I don't know. We're running into the same thing with the little, you know what, script. Let's just see what this does. No, according to this, it all should be. I don't know why my engineer report's gone orange here. I'm in the V2 complex. It's probably the height, I guess. I don't know. You know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. So we're gonna go for the giggles here. So firing that, doing that. I'm going to. That's the Veronique engine. That's the top stage. Okay. These guys are the spin motors. Put that in there. And I'm just going to put on auto stage, and I'm going to just see what happens. That's going to be the whole plan. And if it doesn't work, I'm expecting it not to work. But then we're going to go to the Albert we'll at least get this kind of moving in the right direction. So let's save this and simulate. And we don't want engine failures this time. We're just going to see what happens. And we're back in our rainstorm. I'm going to open up McJeb. Sent guidance. Close that. Close that. Open that. Open up our contract. Do we have? Nope. There's no science aboard, which is good. Okay. We're just going to see what happens. So we're going to use our classic ascent profile. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to just leave that the way it is. But what I am going to do is I am going to put on the auto stage, and I'm going to support hot staging, and I'm going to hope McJeb can handle all that. You know, with all this stuff just kind of thrown together, and see what it does. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm really not expecting it. So we're going to engage. We're just going to run this default downrange, which means it's not going to do the auto staging that's in the you know what I'm talking about, in the KOS program. It's going to let McJeb deal with the auto staging. And what happened there? Insufficient avionics. Ooh, well, we want to fix that. Insufficient avionics. Insufficient avionics. Okay, so our weight has crept over 20 tons. And this is set for 20 tons. So we're going to have to put this, say, 25 tons. We're going to put the amount of electricity down to half of what it was before. We're going to apply and preserve dimensions. Close that, close that, close that, close that, and we're going to simulate again. Okay, contract on, engage autopilot. We are supporting hot staging. Auto staging is on. And we'll see what it does this time. So run, downrange. On your default settings, please. Alright, this time it's going up, taking off a little bit slowly. The launch TWR is a little less than it was before. And again, I think the best way, if I don't like that, is to just reduce the amount of fuel by a little bit in this main booster. Not retool a new tank or anything. There's going to be retooling that has to be done in here. I think this cowling business here is stupid. If you're watching this going, I don't think you're doing a smart thing in here with this transition, I'm tending to agree with you. But we're going to go with it anyway for now. Okay, but I've heard rumors that McJeb handles hot staging very well, and we're putting those rumors to the test. Of our stormy clouds, 2 kilometers downrange, well on our way. Okay. 5 kilometers downrange, 0.1% of our target. We've got this. All right. Okay, so we are getting low on the fuel in our booster here. We're going to spin up. We'll see how McJeb does with all of our various nonsensicals. Okay, spinning up sometime, maybe, yes, no, maybe so. Oh, did I lose some smart parts? Nope, 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 good, good, good. I was worried maybe I threw some smart parts away. Oh, that worked. That worked. That worked. Electricity is gone on the V2, like, that's perfect. It may be a little bit fine, but there's our Veronique now, burning away. Excuse me for a second. Frog in the throat. All right, there we go. We're back. All right. And got a nice spin going. Oh, the Veronique probably has some gimbal action on it, does it? Maybe not. Doesn't feel like it should. It just feels like the spinning is slowing down. Now, unfortunately, we might... Okay, we're onto this guy, but I'm going to have to disengage this because at 500 kilometers, it's going to turn that off. That's all fixable, though. Okay, I'm going to have to disengage and hope for the best. Yep, did you see the little blip? The little blip happened in there as it switched from McJeb to KOS controlling the throttle. But this time the engine did not register as the engine turning off. The game was okay with that. The spin definitely slowed down. But that said, it's going straight, which is really all you need, isn't it? So gotta be aware. Gotta still think about maybe just making this number up higher. Probably be the better plan. Like at an altitude that this just won't reach. And then adjust the ascent profile accordingly. Probably the bestest plan. Okay, we are at 700 kilometers on the apogee. I'm amazed this kept going as straight as it is, to be honest. I'm amazed all that staging worked. I gotta be honest with that, too. Okay, we have... just ran dry. Apogee is 1,106 kilometers. And we be out of fuel. We're going to disengage McJeb. And we're going to go. McJeb handled all of that hot staging perfectly. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And honestly, that worked better than it had any right to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to again get up to apogee, and I'm going to slow down. And then I'm going to note kind of where we're at on our downrange. So there's what is it going to be? 1164. Oh, batteries are going dead on this guy now. And if they go dead before this program ends, the program's just going to crash. Now, to be honest, that's not a big deal. All the program left to do is just to say, hey, you've crossed apogee. Oh, sorry, we still got a minute left. Might be about right. We are 2,187 kilometers downrange right now. There's 11. It's at 1106. It's going to cross 2,381 kilometers on the downrange distance. And now we're just going to watch 2 seconds, 1 second, and yeah, so our KOS program just ended because we just ran out of electricity. But that's okay. We're all ballistic now. We're still keeping track of our downrange distance, and I can watch this. Honestly, this is with no tweaking, no nothing. This is just slapping it together there. We just crossed apogee, and we just crossed the halfway point to 5,000 kilometers. Oh my gosh, this is a workable idea as far as I'm concerned. I think this is a workable idea. I'm going to time warp this down. And we have just, that's the big pause here. We've just entered into the atmosphere. 4,890 kilometers downrange. This is going to blow up fast though. We are almost at 6,000 kilometers going into the atmosphere. So we're smoking it. We're smoking it. I got a feeling we're going to come just short. 80 kilometers altitude, 4,960 kilometers downrange, 983, and that's it. So we came 2 kilometers short. 2 kilometers short. 4,998 kilometers. Oh my gosh. Oh, of course, we'd lost our sounding payload too at that point, so that part's not green. Okay. I gotta be honest. I'm rather shocked that that worked as well as it did. I gotta be honest with that. So we're gonna put this aside for now, and we're gonna keep working on it next episode, because I think we can make this work. But for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave here. No. I was about to say I should push it in the building queue, but that's going to require some tooling, especially around that Veronique engine and all those tanks. And I don't know if I'm that happy with them yet. So I might just sacrifice a few days of engineers taking a break. We're just going to go straight to the launch of our Albert-1 here. Oh, I just clicked on that by mistake. Okay, so this is our V2 Albert-1. And we're going to roll that out. And that is going to take a little bit of time, and in the meantime our engineers are doing really not much of anything, but that's okay. It is all right, and we're just into sunrise. Look at that beautiful sunrise, and we're gonna launch. Okay, so here we are with the Albert-1. Our chimpanzee Albert is not a chimpanzee, it's like a rhesus monkey. He's aboard here getting ready to collect some science for us. The plan, of course, is to bring Albert back. Our contract is not the right contract, is it? No, it's not. So what we need to do is we need to go back to the Space Center. And we're going to go into Mission Control. And we're going to take our rocket development 5,000 kilometers downrange. We're going to take that off the mix. And we're going to do the first advanced biological suborbital experiment. There we go. And close. And back to here, and we're gonna fly. And if you're wondering if what I just did violates the new vessel idea, that is probably where this launch a new vessel thing is coming from. See, now the launch a new vessel has gone, it's not green, and I'm wondering if I did the same thing. I have to go back again over the video from last week. Did I do the same thing? I don't care. I'm going to Alt F2. As far as I'm concerned, this is a new vehicle specifically built for this contract. It is, I'm not going to allow this not being green to be the thing that spoils me. We're going to Alt F12 this. If I meet all the other requirements, I will qualify that one. Okay, so let's go through the numbers here. 160 is right. Get into the ascent profile. Velocity here should be 52.7. That is still right. And 50%, that is still right. So none of that got changed. That is good. We should go into options. We don't have auto stage. Good. Let's make sure all of that is correct. Okay, we will engage McJeb, and we will run our Albert-1 program. Go. And we have cleared the pad. Of course, now that we're out of simulation mode, engine failures are a thing. I hope I just didn't glitch that right there. And you saw me do this earlier in this video as I was playing with these ascent profiles, so hopefully this game is going to be kind to me. That's all I has to say. And just to remind people what the goal is to achieve an altitude of at least 140 kilometers and to achieve a surface speed while above that altitude 220 meters per second and bring Albert safely back to the surface. All of those things have to happen. Okie doke. Getting through the clouds here, and yeah, no spin ups or anything on this one. This is simply going to stop flat out when we run out of fuel. Okay, we are getting close. We are getting close to our cutoff here. All right, all right, all right, all right. Feeling good, feeling good. Apogee is 140, which is over the requirement, 150. And we just ran out of fuel. We're going to disengage that. We're going to turn on SAS, and we're going to put you onto the prograde vector. Not that we have any attitude control whatsoever. Oh, never did figure out the RCS issue yet. Why the throttle goes... Oh, no, we did figure that out. Okay. So if it stopped going backwards, it's just because of aerodynamic forces on the fins. We have no attitude control. And at 100 kilometers, we're going to be releasing our Albert 1 spacecraft. And then... I am assuming control. Okay, there is that. Oh, turn the RCS off. And I'm going to actually put this. Okay, it's drifting down towards the horizon anyway, which is what I want. Okay, put RCS back on. And I want to keep it down on the horizon there. That's it. That's it. Okay, and we're watching our altitude. And it's the surface speed I got to watch. Let's turn RCS off for a little bit. Conserve some of that precious, precious nitrogen. And then when we're a little bit over, what's our... Oh, 159. So we have a good apogee. So I'm going to wait till we're maybe 145 here. And there's our space music. Albert, by the way, is... That should be, yeah, the door is open. You can't see it. Okay, let's not play with that. Okay, RCS on, Z, and engage. Oh my gosh. I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to complain. There was a delay? I don't know what happened there. I'm a little bit... Okay, let's turn RCS off for a bit. Got to get to 2,220 meters per second. And that condition is green. Cut the throttle. Okay, I'm going to put this on retrograde. Let's turn on RCS. And now you can see the little doors open. We are collecting some science here. Not the telemetry, but this guy, the biological sample. Here it is. We are collecting data. Let's turn that way. Sun's a little better that way. Okay, RCS back on. Let it settle into that retrograde orientation. And then we're just going to bleed off whatever speed I can here. Just using nitrogen. Again, this engine will not relight, even though I do still have some fuel left in it. But whatever speed we can take off is going to make Albert's return journey that much better. And this is just going to go until we are out of nitrogen. That's it. Okay, RCS off, SAS off, and staging our payload. There we go. Okay, and that engaged our parachute, and we are now just going ballistic. Again, launch new is didn't go green, don't care. If I get this guy home safely, I'm going to give myself the contract. How much science have we collected so far? I don't know if it really says. We are collecting data. It's probably not even enough for a point. What's it say here? How long? Oh, now it's gone on. We're out of space, so I don't think there's much science to get. I got a feeling we'll see when we get there, but I don't even see a science number. Anyway, door should have closed here. Not that I have control. It's in the dark. Whatever, we'll just have to take our word for it. We are now back into the atmosphere, on our way back down. Do you have the 200 units of sounding payload? You know, I don't think I have to have the 200 units of sounding payload. But what it is doing is it is kind of a buffer part between where Albert's hanging out and, you know, the heat of reentry. So it's kind of like a poor person's heat shield, I would think. That's why I'm keeping it, just because I got the contract requirements anyway, and I figured, you know, this will help with Albert. Now, if I recall correctly, this really pulls the G's as we get slamming into the atmosphere here, as the atmosphere gets thicker. Here we go. Here we go. A little bit of reheating effects. G's are climbing. 5 G's. 8 G's. 10 G's. 11. 12 G's. 13 G's. Just over 13 G's. Oh, poor little monkey. G's are dropping now. All right, we're coming down. We're coming down. Survive that. Excellent. 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 We have lost communications that I do not think is because of electricity. Oh, wait. Oh, no, there's electric. Oh, this is the avionics, the sounding payloads at the top. The avionics is on the bottom. We have plenty of electricity. We are just out of range of any of our ground stations. So, but that's okay. I'm sure there's a ship out here that has eyes on Albert. This is not doing anything for us. This is not doing anything for us. Close that. And we can do a little time warping. There comes our parachutes there. This is probably my first time I've used these parachutes properly. Okay, they are fully deploying. Surface speed of about 6.3 meters per second. It'll probably drop a little bit more. Maybe not. .2 meters per second. That is nice and comfy. Certainly much more comfy than the what he endured on reentry. Okay, let's recover the vessel. Normal recovery. All right. And did we get any? We got 0.1 science of the available 44 science. So you need to spend, I don't think it's really worth it. I think you need to get him orbital to really make that worth the amount of time. But anyway, we're going to close that and recover and recover. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, that solves the mystery of what happened with the first mission too. Why there was no crew. I probably did the exact same thing. I don't know. I don't care, because as far as I'm concerned, I did this first advanced biological suborbital experiment. I'm marking you as complete. That gets me the reputation that I so rightly deserve. First advanced biological suborbital experiment. Well done. Your subjects survived, and our scientists are now examining it. And the collected data, 57 reputation, and we've achieved the objectives set forth in the suborbital research program. There are still optional contracts I can do. I'm not really sure it's worth my time, but we'll think about that later. And it can now be completed in the administrative building. So if I go now to the administrative building, I can now click on suborbital research, and I can check this off and complete the program. And that will get me 73.8 reputation. Look, and I did it before we even got to our peak funding. Now, you might be going, well, right now you are still to receive like about 90,000 funds if I let this go to the end. So is it better to let it go? I don't think it is, because if I go to X-Plane Research, which I could pick up if I let this one go, I would start getting the funding for X-Plane research right away. And notice how look where it peaks to. So I think the better plan is actually just to just dive right into the next thing. So this will give us a little bit more variety of what's going to be going on, make things a little less boring for everybody, I hope. But I think that's going to have to be it for this particular episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll pick this up next episode. I hope to see you then.